Hi, and welcome back to Bryce Tinley Music. Okay, today's the big one. We're tackling the major scale. The most important scale in all of music, right? Every one of the modes is based around this shape, this scale, okay? This sequence of notes. We're not going to talk too much about the modes today. We're going to just learn this scale because it's, again, the most important thing you'll ever learn as far as scales in music. It's applicable for all instruments, but we're learning it for the guitar. Okay, so the major scale is also called the Ionian mode. Okay, you don't need to know that just yet, but it's good to have in the back of your mind that Ionian mode is a major scale. It's the same thing. It's just a different way to say it, okay? Now, this is what it's going to look like when we finally finish it off, but we're going to go through it step by step on this guitar. So don't stress too much if that looks overwhelming, okay? This is going to be one of those shapes that you're just going to have to learn. You're going to have to just put in a lot of time and figure out a way for yourself to remember how to do this scale, okay? The way I do it is every day when I warm up, I will go through the modes, okay? And obviously, the Ionian is one of the most important pieces of this, okay? So we're going to go through the first half of it, the first 8 notes first, okay? So we're going to go from an octave to octave. So we're going to do this in the key of G. So we're going to go from G to G. Okay, does that make sense? We're going to go from G to G using the major scale. Now, again, this is in G. We're going to start with our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. Then we're going to go pinky finger on the 5th fret of the E string. Okay? Okay? You have to use your pinky. Super, super important. If you don't have a strong pinky, you are 1/4 weak, right? You need to have your pinky strength. I know some amazing guitarists who are really good with 3 fingers, but as soon as they try to use their pinky, they can't do anything. Alright, so it's super important that you build that strength now while you can, so you don't have to worry about it later, a couple of years down the track. So we're going to go middle finger on the 3rd fret and pinky on the 5th fret. We're going to go down string to the A string. We're going to go 2nd fret with our pointer finger. Our middle finger is going to hit the 3rd fret, and our pinky is going to hit the 5th fret again. So, 3rd, 5th. 2nd, 3rd, 5th. Go back the other way. Okay, now we're going to know the next bit. 3rd, 5th. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th. Down again. 2nd, 4th, 5th. Using your pointer finger, your middle finger, and your ring, and your pointer finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. Okay, so 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 4th, 5th. Nice. You want to be able to do that up and down, okay? Till you're confident with it just till you're confident with it. Super important, okay? So if you need to pause the video and practice that 100,000 million times, then do so, because I'm going to move on to the next bit now, okay? Just to complete it, so you can go from the low E to the high E, doing the same scale, okay? But the most basic major in it, the most basic version of this chord scale is that. Even just knowing that is super important, right? Excellent. Now we move on. So you've just learned all the red dots, okay? So you're going from the G note here to the G octave here. So these notes are both G. That's why power chords and bar chords work so well, because you're playing the same notes, right? But I digress. That's your G, and this is your G. And there was 8 notes. So now what we need to do is do another 8 notes leading and ending on the G. Okay? So we're going to start on our G right here. This is our G note. So from here, we're going to go to the G string. We're going to go to the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, and the 5th fret. Okay? Alright, next step, we're going to go, here's your G, 2nd, 4th, 5th. We're going to just go to the 3rd and the 5th. That's all it is on the B string. 3rd and 5th. Okay? Using your your middle finger and your pinky. Yeah. So. Yeah. Then the last 2 notes is the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret back on the E string, which is, as we know, a G. So I know it's going to be a lot of information to go to start right now, okay? So take your time, slow it down, repeat the video, go through it and through it and through it. But I'm going to go through from head to tail. Ready? Nice and slow so you can see which fingers I'm using and what frets I'm hitting, okay? So I'm going to start here. Okay, so you need to be able to do that all the way down and all the way back up the fret, okay? You need to be able to cycle through it nice and comfortably and nice and easily, okay? Very important. You can apply this scale in soloing if you want. I suggest you just learn it first, but all the major scales will work best in a major song. So a song that sounds happy, if you're using, you know, the same things we were talking about last time, if they're using their G's and whatever chords happening the most often. But you can look at the last video if you want to know more about that. But right now we're just going to try to remember that whole scale. Okay, it's the G major scale. Now the beautiful thing about scales is that you can move them anywhere on the fret, on the neck, as you know, as long as you're tracing this top E string. And it's the same shape all the way through. So if you know the major scale, you actually know 12 major scales because you just have to move it along the string. And it's the same shape but just in different places. So if I wanted to play the B major scale, I would just move my root note to B and go. Right? It's pretty straightforward, okay? So practice, practice, practice. If you need to write it out, you need to draw it out, you need to do whatever you need to do, but this scale needs to be remembered. It's just there is no option. It's very, very important, okay? Just have to do it 100 times until it's in your brain, basically. I won't carry on too much longer, but yeah, that's basically it. We will talk more about what actual notes are being used when we talk about the modes, okay? Right now, I just want you to learn the shapes. Next lesson, we'll go over the minor. And until then, keep practicing and I'll see you later.